Okay, so this is an intradiscal injection of viable allograft. It's called Viadisc NP. This is micronized nucleus pulposus. And we have the kit that comes with it. And on the table, I have the kit here. And it comes with a sterile drape. It comes with needles. So 18 gauge needle here, syringes, needles for anesthetic. This comes with a 20 gauge needle, and this is a 20 gauge Chiba needle. It has a single bevel on the end, and this is designed to access the disc. And so if you're so inclined, you can use the 18 gauge as well. This is an 18 gauge that has a bevel needle, and this all comes in the kit. In addition, we have the prep here, chlorhexidine gluconate, and this is alcohol swab sticks. So everything is all self-contained. And as I get from Brad here, who's about ready to, will demonstrate the application of the saline, which is this, and we'll put it in the container through the little access port here. We'll inject this in, and then we'll mix it like this. And the Viadisc NP comes, the micronized nucleus pulposus comes inside the container. And this it has gears on it, so it turns more quickly by a factor of 4 inside than it does on the outside. And I'll give this to Brad while he continues to mix, and then he'll draw it back up and we'll put it in a syringe. So we will access the disc now. This is a 20 gauge needle, as I said. So arc about 30 degrees toward you. That's good right there. Let's see what we have here in terms of a disc. Great. So I'm going to go down a little bit. Picture there. All right. And come back caudal just a little bit with the II. Caudal, please. That's good. And we'll just aim for whatever's closest to us. So the way that you access the discs is you have the superior articular process, anywhere between a third to a half, bisecting the vertebral body above it. So that's about roughly a third. And so we're going to start with our position here. Picture. And we'll just start right anterior to the superior articular process. And we're going to go down and we're going to steer the needle. Picture. And preferably, we can hit the SAP right there. So I can feel that. I have a little bend in my needle, as you can tell. I bend it coincident with the bevel away from the notch. That's needleology, so we can steer this needle. And so I'm going to put this into the disc from that point right there. So I'd like to come back AP. We can check and see how far medial lateral we are. And then after the AP, then we're going to take a look lateral to put it in the center of the disc. So come back caudal if you could, please. Yes.
That stars on there.
So we'll get a little bit more squaring of the end plates. Picture that. And that's nice in the center of the disc, at least on the AP. And let's go lateral. And keep in mind that the nucleus pulposus the real nucleus is about the center third of the disc. Combination of the inner and outer annular fibers takes up the center 2/3 of the disc. So we want to at least get it into the center third of the disc. And anybody with a modified Fearman grade 3 or 4 degree of disc degeneration, let's drop it down a bit. Okay, come up on the table. Modified Fearman 3 or 4, and that is, I'll advance it just a smidge, and that looks to be dead center. And style it out. And we'll take the NP mixed with the saline. So here it is. This mixes up to 1.5 cc's, and I'll resuspend this. You can see that it is particulate material. And so what I do before injecting it is I will pull it back, put a little air in it, and then I will resuspend the particulate. And then after we resuspend the particulate, we take it, we evacuate all the air out of it. Don't leave any in there. And then we'll attach the syringe. We'll inject into the disc. Got a little plug. Happens, not unusual. So some of the material here, the particulate, can plug the cannula. The reason why this happens is a process called filter packing. I was going to discuss this. Even if it didn't plug, it doesn't plug this time. So very nice delivery. We take the syringe out, put the stylet in every time to get all the residual liquid, the residual Viadisc NP, and we take the needle out, and that is the procedure. Go ahead and take another lateral picture of that. And you can see subtly the disc increased in height, and that's because the injectate within the disc. And so the process where this can plug is called filter packing. If you put too much pressure or sudden pressure or just any pressure, it doesn't have to be appropriate or inappropriate, you can get plugging of this proximal portion of the needle. It sends the fluid through the particulate, leaving the particulate behind, and the engineering term for that is called filter packing. If that happens, take your stylet and replace this, clear it out, as you saw me do, and then re-inject. And that is Viadisc NP. This is a treatment for discogenic back pain. We had the discussion of anterior column and discogenic back pain. Viadisc NP is done typically in younger patients with discogenic back pain, modified Fearman grades 3 through 7. And 7 is up to 30% collapse, more than 30% collapse. All the way collapsed is modified Fearman grade 8. The scale only goes to 8. So a modified Fearman grade 6 is up to 30%, 30 to 50 is 7, more than 50% collapse is grade 8. And this is done for patients with or without modic changes with discogenic back pain. Questions?
What kind of sedation we use for this?
At most, constant sedation. I mean, this can't even be done under local. This is not very difficult. So I usually use MAC, moderate sedation. I don't know anybody that does anything more than that. This can be done without sedation under local, but you're giving them IV antibiotics anyway. The cocktail I mentioned previously, it's 1 or 2 grams of Ansef, 80 milligrams of gentamicin. If somebody's allergic to those, or if they're penicillin allergic, 600 milligrams of clindamycin. If somebody has insensitivity or is allergic to these, it's 1 to 3 grams of vancomycin based on weight IV. And since they're getting IV antibiotics anyway, I usually like to give them some sedation, a little bit of fentanyl and Versed.
Do you do like local gentamicin?
So you had quite a bit of audio feedback. I didn't get that last question. Could you repeat it?
Do we inject like local gentamicin or just like IV too for the gentamicin?
He's asking local gentamicin versus IV gentamicin. So you said topical gentamicin?
That is so bad I can't hear you. Can't make out what you're saying. Sorry.
He's asking topical gentamicin versus using IV gentamicin.
Yeah, so IV gentamicin always. Yeah. And you can give 80 milligrams is a fairly big dose. You could give twice that. It's not nephrotoxic until you give gentamicin constantly. So 80 to 100 milligrams of gent, all IV. And we use gentamicin specifically because that antibiotic has a unique property that it penetrates the disc.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, that's much better. So the audio sometimes gives feedback, and it's hard to, but now it's perfect.
Okay. I've seen it on both sides where some people use contrast and some people don't. Do you typically use contrast when you're doing these before?
Never, never use contrast. Never. This is micronized disc material, micronized to 300 microns mixed with saline. So this is donor tissue, the same as a heart or a kidney. And contrast is notably, it's bactericidal. It also will kill normal things, normal cells. So don't use contrast along with this. Viadisc NP, the trial for that the extended trial from 6 months and then all the way out to 2 years. We have results for this out to 2 years. And the original Viadisc, which is micronized disc material mixed with 6 million cells of a certain degree of stemness or MSCs. No contrast was utilized in anything. So this has never been tested with contrast. You don't need contrast whenever you put the needle in the center of the disc. That is sufficient. And you've seen that technique. And when the disc increases in height transiently, you've seen that after the injection, you know you're smack in the middle of the disc, and it will always increase in height slightly. So if you take a lateral view, you put the injectate in, take another lateral view while you're watching the screen, you can see the motion of height increase. So don't ever use contrast with this, please.
Is there a set-in period or any specific activity restrictions for the patient right after this procedure?
No, I just tell them no bending, lifting, twisting for the day, and I let them go back to normal activities the next day. Patients typically don't feel much of a difference. They can have back pain. Very commonly, they will have back pain after this injection. Sometimes they will have strange feelings like dissociation with their legs, with their trunk. It's because presumably the fullness sensation they get from filling the disc up with the Viadisc. And it goes in as what's akin to a thin paste. It doesn't have much viscosity whenever you inject it, but 15 to 30 minutes after you inject it, it becomes a thick gel. If you put it into a test tube and turn the test tube over, it will stick to the top of the test tube. So this is actually, it becomes a gel after it's injected. But no restrictions, back to normal activity the next day. It takes about a month, and they'll get a taste of what things will be like. They start to feel better at 1 month. The improvement maximizes at 6 months. So it's not an immediate relief. In fact, about 5% of the patients, based on the BASS trial, can have a fairly moderate to more than moderate amount of increased pain. So you have to be ready to give these patients medication to help them with their pain if they were to get a crescendo effect. The thought is that sometimes you inject into the disc and it sends inflammatory mediators out that might be in the disc already. That's a thought process as to why some of the people get an increase in pain after this, but just be ready for it. It doesn't happen very often.
Another question? Yeah, go ahead.
How many levels do you inject at a time?
Can you try the microphone? Push the button below the green.
How many levels do you inject at a time?
How many levels, Doug, can be injected at one time?
It's 1. So the trial was 1 or 2. Theoretically, there's no limit. I mean, you can inject all of it if you want to, but this is paid for by Medicare through the Medicare Max, including mine. I'm in the Novitas region. They only pay for 1. So if somebody's cash paying for this, then you can do as many as you need. But it was only tested for 1 or 2 levels at a time. The pivotal trial and the Viadisc NP trial were both 1 or 2 levels.
Doug, can you maybe give a clinical scenario of patients that you see in your clinics that would be a good candidate for this?
Yeah. So the best candidate, we kind of identified this before. It is a young patient, 55 or less. And I just told you the only payer that pays for this is Medicare. There are people with younger discs that are older for sure. That modified Fearman grade 3, which is a little bit of disc degeneration to 7, that's not more than 50% collapsed. Motor changes with or without. Midline back pain, pain with bending at the waist, pain with axial loading, pain with sitting, demonstrable anterior column pain. I usually go to the next step and inject the disc. And it's concordant, and I don't measure concordance. I don't inject a lot of contrast. I inject just a little bit of contrast into the disc. As I inject the combination of dexamethasone and anesthetic, I will ask him, is this the same as your typical pain? And get a concordance or discordant pain result out of that, and then wait to see what the anesthetic does. And so you select the patients that way, and then you're sure about the discs or disc that is giving them the anterior column pain, and then go on to the Viadisc.
Doug, in the setting where discography has shown 2-level concordant symptoms and the single-level restriction, is it rational to proceed with the other level if the patient is symptomatic, still persisting symptomatic after the first, once the global has been satisfied.
Yes, indeed. The upside about this one is there is no doing two on the same day, but there's no restriction. You could literally bring the patient back the next day to do it. I don't do that. I separate it out by a week to 2 weeks, somewhere in that range. So and you give somebody, if they're concordant and the pain is coming from 2 discs and you're pretty sure pain goes away completely, near complete or completely with an anesthetic injection, just do one, bring it back in a week or 2 and do the other. The other option you have, if they have 2 levels of concordant pain, anterior column pain, is you can inject one, wait about a month and see how much they improve, just trying to inject the worst disc first, and then go back and inject the other disc if they have a demonstrable need to do that. But most of the time, even though patients have multiple discs that are degenerated, we find really 1 or 2 that are the painful ones.
Any further questions from the audience? Job well done. Thank you.